Welcome back to Voice from the Corner. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all safe. We've had a crazy 24 hours on Twitter. It's all kicked off once again in boxing. This time, John Fury has been taking his top off, trying to brawl Jake Paul after Tommy Fury's exhibition last night. And just wanted to get your opinion on it, Pete.
And firstly, I'd like to say I get a lot of comments in straight away, people saying, "Oh, where's your rant then, Pete? Tyson Fury, John Fury, Tommy Fury, you never say things and all that." I always say what I see, and I'll be straight in what I see. And again, you ask Tyson personally. If you ever see Tyson, you ask him personally, do I say things to him? Do I open up to him? And, sometimes, I think you're wrong with this, I think you're wrong with that. I'll say it. I don't care. At the end of the day, I am my own man. I'll say it as it is. I ain't really took much notice of it, but it's hard not to see it on social media. We're seeing stuff every day which, in today's world, don't seem to amaze people. I think it was an absolute joke. The John Fury brawl with Jake Paul was never going to happen, was it? He could have got out of that ring if he wanted to get out of that ring. He would have just slapped the two bodybuilders either side of him, wouldn't he have? Tyson likes to use the bodybuilder word, and that's what he had, a couple of bodybuilders either side of him. A quick backhander would have pushed them out of the way and he'd have been out onto Jake Paul, wouldn't he have? We wouldn't have liked to have seen that, obviously, because of it's not good for boxing. We see Tommy Fury out of character as well. He seems to have rubbed him up the wrong way, Jake Paul. We see him well out of character there because that's not him. He's quiet, keeps himself within himself a lot of the time. But no, I think it's unacceptable behaviour, total unacceptable behaviour, because boxing's a dangerous game. Let's not forget, that was WWF last night. And see Sam Jones put a tweet up about it, saying it's comical, it's funny. I don't see it in that light because I had a lot of amateur fights and I had 58 pro fights. I don't know how many times I've told people this, but I've seen a lot of people being injured in my time in boxing as well. Amateur and professional. Can name a few names if you want me to. Gerald McLennan, Michael Watson, which are more famous to people. Patrick Day, who died in the ring. Nick Blackwell. Charlie Wynn. The list goes on. Not only does the list go on there, a lot of fighters that have lost their eyesight, a lot of fighters that mentally it's done, a lot of fighters that have turned to alcohol. It's a dangerous game inside and outside the ring with boxing. People say, but that's life, isn't it? It's not life, is it? Because if you get sacked from a job or you're told you're not good at a job anymore, you can go and get another job, can't you? Most boxers, when they retire, are damaged, seriously damaged, and find it hard to go back into the real world. People have said to me, what's it really like, Pete? I said, it's like going and doing 20 years in prison and coming out to the real world, because you're living in a bubble when you're a boxer. And I wanted to get that out of there. I think I've said enough there for that side of things. But from the social media point of view of, what people like John Fury, Tommy Fury, and other people do, kids look up to these people. Tommy's a legend to all the kids out there, the Love Island people and all that. And I think you've got to learn to carry yourself better and with certain things. Yeah, you see you get wound up and things like that. I mean, how can I talk to a degree? I didn't go to levels like that, but with Shane Singleton, it's something that really eats me up inside because it's all over social media, me pushing him out away in and all that. I'm not here to say I ain't got my own mind, because I've got my own mind, but I had people putting things in my mind that day. We want to try and sell the show, push him, blah, blah, blah. The only person that lost out of that fight was me and Shane Singleton, because both of us got banned for 8 months. 8 months. You got people like Canelo getting banned for 6 months for steroids. Don't tell me money don't talk. That's the top and bottom of it. It's a joke.
That's stupid, that.
But going back to social media, that's another thing which it's a disease. It's a disease if it ain't used properly, in my opinion. Too many people are on social media. There's no profile, there's no CV, and they're talking about things they ain't got a clue about. They're Googling something, and then they're saying that's their opinion on it, not their experiences on it. And, we've got people in boxing now talking about boxing. People on Twitter, people on Instagram, people on YouTube, putting opinions out there with no experience. If you've got the experience, you can have an opinion to a big platform. But we've got big people out there that have got opinions that have not got a clue. And we go towards the trainers, the CVs of the trainers, the cheerleaders, backslappers, as I call them. And, you don't need nothing in boxing. And you get these top amateurs going pro. They've been all around the world, won medals all around the world. And they're going pro with some cheerleader backslapper. I won't even call them PTs because they ain't even got certificates to do that. They're professional boxing coaches. What did they need to get that? They was blue ticked on Twitter, they was blue ticked on Instagram, and they've got 2,000 watch hours on YouTube, and they go and get a license. It's madness. And all they're doing is looking after these top amateurs. Oh no, the pro game's different. You got to do it like this. You got to do it like that. No, mate, it's no different. Yeah, you just add a few things to a fighter. Yeah, you show them the distances, the different distances, outer range, mid range, in range. How to little dirty tricks inside. Yeah, they're already doing 3-minute rounds if they're top amateurs. The WSO, whatever you call it, WSB, they do 5-minute rounds, five rounds on that, 5 3-minute rounds. So all of a sudden they turn, but nah, you got to change it all round. You got to do this. You got to go and get a strength and conditioner. Some geezer that's juiced out of his head, looks in good shape, and wants to get you in good shape. You're a fighter, mate. You're not a bodybuilder. You're a fighter. Yeah? And that's what happens. And then people leave their boxing behind. Kerry Case, shout out Kerry Case. For me, one of the best strength and conditioners out there, was a bodybuilder. He says it's 10% you do with your strength. That all the rest of it's your boxing. 10%. Now they're doing 50-50. Boxing session in the morning, a strength session at night. You either can punch or you can't punch. That's the top and bottom of it. And again, going back to the social media side of things, young kids are watching these, believing these people, believing on their role models and thinking it's right what they're doing. That is the world we're living in at the moment. And like I say, things that are close to my heart, kids going in their room. I've got my own kids. I've got a 12-year-old and I've got a 16-year-old. We keep an eye on what they're doing on social media. We keep an eye on what they're doing on Click Clock, TikTok, Pickpock, whatever you want to call it, and all that sort of stuff. A kid the other day, yeah, my mum all right, in the room, close the door, for about a month, go to school, come home, go in their rooms. Don't know what they're watching after these kids, this and that. When the little girl's took her own life, they've gone back on her phone to look at it. There is platforms on Instagram that show kids how to self-harm. It's madness. It's madness. This is an illness. This is an internet illness, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's terrible. You know what I mean? Like I say, it's great for something, social media, but the right thing should be promoted on it. I don't think everybody should have platforms. And I think there should be licenses and people should have to show ID to be on social media. To be verified, there has to be an ID shown. Yeah? But not on, well, there only has to be ID shown if you're going for verification. If they see you in a newspaper article, they'll verify you. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Mm-hmm. So who's to say other people ain't using these platforms? I don't think there's enough security around it. So for me, all that stuff that happened on Sunday night has got to stop, especially in a dangerous sport like boxing. It's different if they're doing it at WWF. Go and play with the WWF boys. You know what I mean? Big hairy ass men running around like they're running around. No respect for me. That's the top and bottom bit. I'll leave it there.
Well, okay, I know you said leave it there, but one thing I do want to hear your opinion on is the reaction to it on social media and some of the people in boxing, their reaction to what they had seen. And a lot of people were laughing at it. Not just fans, top people in boxing were laughing at what happened. What's your reaction to that?
the world we're living in at the moment is a self-indulgent world. So if David Beckham goes and has a shit in the middle of the street, yeah, sorry about my language, people, I'm being real. Everybody else will go and have a shit in the middle of the street. That's the problem. So if one person laughs, they'll all laugh. If one person says, that's racist, that's this, everybody else will follow the trend. That's the truth of it. That is the life we're in now, right? We sit here and have a serious conversation. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. The more realer it is, the less interaction it gets. The more false it is, the more interaction it gets. And that's a sad state of the affairs today. That's a sad state of affairs. And we all try and bring our kids up to do the best we can for our kids. And you know what? In 10 years' time, if they don't ban social media, people are going to be in terrible states. In terrible states. Like I say, these platforms are great to put videos out there like this. And any child that's out there at the moment, or any hairy-ass grown man that still acts like he's 12 years old, yeah? Promise you, don't take all this as gospel, social media, and how people are living. You know, I'll give you one example. Someone goes out on a Saturday night to Mayfair, London, Manchester, Liverpool, Belfast, Dublin, wherever you want to say, right? They're having lovely selfies done. They're all absolutely airbrushed the life out of men and women. You know, drinking champagne, probably got a bottle of champagne, making it look as though they got 10, right? But they come home, they wake up in the morning, they scratch their head, they realise they've got no money left, and they ain't even got a tin of beans in the cupboard. And that's how people are living. But imagine how someone else is feeling that ain't got a penny, that's sitting indoors, or a young kid that's sitting indoors, you know, ain't got no Christmas presents, and you've got other people putting pictures of loads of Christmas presents up under trees and all that sort of stuff. You know, listen, be kind, be nice. People talk about it all the time. Be kind and be nice, right? But you know what? They don't really mean it, because 5 minutes later they're putting pictures up of, you know, them in flash restaurants and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes you got to think about, and we're all viable for. We've all done silly things, but now it's time. I think it's got to change. I mean, it's mad because I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to change boxing. I'm trying to change social media. I bet everyone's thinking, oh, mate, Pete, give it a break. But, you know, when you sit down, you really do think about it. You know, people have got to think before they do, haven't they? That's what I think. You know what I mean? And it's just my way. Listen, I'm going to use social media to try and sell my book. But it's surely that's a positive way of using social media. And when I talk about boxing, I'm only giving you my experiences and my feelings of it. You know, I'm not saying everybody's got an opinion, but everybody's got an arsehole, haven't they, as well? So that's the truth of it. But if you feel you've got a valid opinion, I'm not saying don't use it. And it's good that fans speak about boxing and things like that, or speak about life. But at least have a bit of experience in it, in my opinion.
Well, for me, I think with fans speaking about it, as long as they know how dangerous the sport is, that's what matters to me. And I
Yeah.
think with a lot of what's coming in with these YouTubers, bringing in these young fans, they don't realise how dangerous this sport is, and they look at what's happening on last night, and they just see it as a joke, and they see everything that Jake Paul did on commentary as a joke, and it just, for me, boxing's too dangerous of a sport to be there having a laugh and taking a piss on commentary. And then
let's not forget. Let's not forget. We always talk about boxing fans being the most fickle fans, yeah, because they are, right?
Yeah.
Football fans, there's going to be a Super League. That was uproar, mate. It never happened, right? You know, all you people out there last night that watched that show paid 16, 17 quid or whatever it was. It was a gym show. That's what kids do when they're like 9 years old, 8 years old. They have gym shows. There was no decisions. But to all you pros out there, they're probably all on 20, 30 grand a fight and upwards. Yeah. So they have took the platform. And they took the platform because, see, promoters, area promoters and area fighters, yeah. And we obviously got men and women in boxing now, right? And I'm not saying area women. I'm saying, like, you know, women, because I don't want to single anybody out.
Yeah.
But how can I say it? you're all laughing at it. But them YouTubers are laughing at you. You're the ones taking the serious punishment for next to nothing. And the promoters are laughing their head off because their broadcasters are promoting them. Just think about it. That's all you got to think about. It's very, very simple. Strip back life and make it simple, and you realise all the badness that's going on as we speak. I ain't got an opinion on what John Fury done or what Tommy Fury done. I ain't really got an opinion on it. I just think it's absolute. It's a joke. It's a joke. And I mean, I don't mean a joke and people should laugh at it. People shouldn't take these people serious if they're acting like that. They should be grown men. You know what I mean? Look, come on. If you want to go any further, these podcasts, go on these podcasts. I've been on a couple of these podcasts, said, pull my podcast. You're not having my podcast go on your show. Yeah? But yeah, I shot 3 people. Next geezer comes on next week. God, I've got to top that one. Yeah, I shot 12 people. Next person comes on. Yeah, I've been shot 14 times. Show us your charge sheet. Show us the evidence. Otherwise, do we believe it? Because for me, all these podcasts, they might as well go to the BBC or Netflix, right, and sell these stories. The reason why these stories ain't been sold is because there's no evidence on them. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, oh yeah, I had 40 fights as an amateur. No, you never, you liar. You never had 40 fights as an amateur. Put me on some of these podcasts and I'll say, you never had 40 fights. Prove it you had 40 fights. If you want to prove what I've done, it's in black and white what I've done. But people believe it. Oh yeah, have you seen that podcast when the geezer, bashed the crocodile up? Like, people tell these stories. There's another geezer that knocked a shark out on there, and people believe it. People believe that it happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've had people on podcasts turn around and say, never had mental health problems. What are you on about? Nah, I don't really understand it. 5 minutes later, the same podcaster turns around because it's his favourite word because it's sellable. Yeah, what about your mental health struggles? Yeah, well, I did really seriously mentally struggle when this happened. Yeah? He said 5 minutes ago he's never struggled with mental health. The same geezer said he had 40 amateur fights. Lucky if he's ever been in a boxing ring, boxing gym. Wouldn't even know how to put the glove on. He probably put a pair of woolly gloves on. But the thing is, boxing's such an easy sport just to walk into and say, yeah, I've done a bit of this and I've done a bit of that and I've done a bit of this. It's crazy. It's craziness.
Yeah, look, you mentioned mental health, and someone who's an amazing mental health activist and advocate, is Ricky Hatton. And he had a fantastic exhibition with Barrera. Fantastic card in general. I just wanted to get your reaction on the card as an overall.
Well, the rules were put in place for the Ricky Hatton and Marco Antonio Barrera fight. Yeah, the rules were put in place. It was said on TV, and we could see it for our own eyes. Right. I was up with Ricky 2 weeks ago before his fight, in phenomenal shape, mentally in a good place. That's the winner for me, that he's got himself back in that position. For the fight's point of view, Sky Sports turned their broadcasting off. They had their top of the bill, chief support, top of the bill. Ricky Hatton come on after that. It was under the PBA, the Professional Boxing Association, right, which is the YouTube platform. Bruce Baker doing good things. He's trying to make a YouTuber's own lane of influence boxing championships. Yeah, IBC, whatever they're called. Yeah, fair play to him. He's not trying to promote these like they're professionals, although it's called a PBA. I think they've just made, professional don't mean anything bar they're getting paid for what they're doing. I didn't know that. I was professional all them years and I didn't know that because I was a professional boxer and for 4 fights I never got a penny for. That's the top and bottom of it. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Professional fights and I never got a penny for it. Going back to what we're saying, the Ricky Hatton fight, 2 legends. Sellable because it's 2 legends. Weren't pay-per-view, right? The man that derailed Nazim Ahmed and Marco Antonio Barrera and Ricky Hatton will, for me, till the day I die, probably be the biggest seller in the UK. Without a doubt. The money's gone up now and everything's gone up. So I'm not saying he'd have had the money, but I tell you what, he still won't be far behind them people. The money they've had, the bigger people now have had money in boxing. They never only give us a great exhibition. There was times in that fight when one or two of them threw some big shots, and the referee had to calm it down. But we all knew what it was about, and they were showing the dangers of boxing in that fight, really, because one too many can be terrible damage. So it was better than a glorified sparring session. It was entertaining, and they did have a little go at times in the fight. And like I say, it was great to see them have their last dance. And you could pay for something like that anyway. But to have two people that ain't even got no amateur pedigree, right, getting well paid on another platform, I don't understand it. And then supposed to be a professional boxer running around like a lunatic, and an ex-professional fighter running around like lunatics, pulling their tops off and that. I disagree. I disagree with that sort of action. And like I say, Ricky Hatton is a great mental health advocate. Great. You know, I can't say nothing more highly about him, and can't wait for him to do a little bit in my book when I lost my brother to mental health. And I'd be proud to have Ricky Hatton's name in there. You know, and Irish Blood and Grit, March the 17th is going to be launched. You've heard it here first. It's going to be on pre-sale on December the 1st.
Yeah.
So if you want to pre-buy it on December the 1st as a Christmas present for someone or something, it's going to be there for you to read. And do you know what's going to be? Do you know what I want this book to show people? And I want people to understand not only the struggles what I've had in life or what my family have been through in life, and how I've dealt with these struggles. I want this book so people start to understand how I think and the way I express myself. I'm very passionate, very energetic, and I think people will really get to know me more when they read this book and support what I want to do. And I ain't worked it out yet what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have a percentage of that going to a charity as well, without a doubt. But I'm not trying to sell it on the back of that I'm going to give a percentage to charity. That's just for my own feel-good factor.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's a good way to end. Just like, is there any final words you'd like to say before we end this?
No, just like I say, don't take everything you see on social media as gospel. I know we're living in a self-indulgent world now. I think we need more channels out there of people just speaking their mind. The problem is when people speak their mind, it takes a lot harder for a channel to build. I don't feel, and when people say, you don't say this about this person, you don't say that about that person because they're your friends. There's a reason why I don't go and do interviews with people or get people on my channel. It's because I want this channel to be on its own. I don't want this channel to feel as though, I've got so-and-so on my channel, I can't speak like that about so-and-so. And I want it to just be a neutral channel. I want it to be a neutral channel. So why am I going to get someone on my channel and then start being like bigging them up if I feel they're doing something wrong? Yeah, because my opinion ain't the same as everyone else's, but I feel they're doing something wrong. Yeah, and undo all the good work which I've done on this channel. You know, I've made mistakes. I'm not saying I ain't made mistakes on the channel, and everything I see ain't right. Everything I see ain't right, but everything I see, I'm not 100% right, but I'm 100% real. That's the top and bottom of it.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment to what you think. Because we always love hearing what you have to say. And don't forget, there is a join button below us now. If you want to become official Voice from the Corner member, you're more than welcome to. There are a few perks. All you have to do is click that join button and you can see what those perks are. And look, thank you everyone for watching.